the HoverAir X1 Pro Max is a very clever bit of kit. There's no questioning it. But the question I'm here to answer is, can I use this as a tool to improve the content that I create? Or is it just an expensive gadget that I'll end up not using? Well, stick around and we'll try and work it out. Once I get my breath back. Filming the landscape and scenery of your activity can quite literally be a juggling act. Action and 360 cameras are great, but they can only do so much. If you want to portray the true representation of the scenery, then you need to get further away. And the only way you can realistically do that is with a drone. I've been battling with the whole drone question for years, but dragging both it and all of the paraphernalia that goes along with it out on the bike on the off chance that I may or may not use it, well, it sounds like more hassle than it's worth. So when I saw the first iteration of the HoverAir, the original X1, I thought I'd found the answer. A tiny standalone unit that fits in your pocket, unfolds, takes off from the palm of your hand, and then buzzes around over your head, creating some real cool footage. And when you're done, you just fold it up, stuff it back in your pocket, and off you go. But then I soon realised, with a runtime of only 11 minutes and a top speed of just 16 miles an hour, for cycling at least, it was a bit limited. But then HoverAir went along and released two new versions, the Pro and what we have here, the Pro Max, with increased resolution, speed and runtime. Oh, and the new feature they're calling Omni-Terrain means you can finally use these drones over both water and snow. And on the subject of filming in those tricky conditions, they've also included a set of 4 ND filters. How cool is that? Now, I don't normally feature stuff like this on my channel. I try to keep it on topic and talk about cycling stuff. But when HoverAir got in touch with me and explained that they'd brought out new accessories and bundles aimed directly at cyclists, so I said to HoverAir, yeah, sure, ship one over to me and I'll take a look. Technically, HoverAir don't class this as a drone, they call it a flying camera. And unlike a drone, it has the capability of operating completely independently without the use of a controller or input from you. As I said earlier, it literally just takes off from the palm of your hand and then flies around following you using whatever preset you selected. So if you are looking to get that dramatic drone style footage but don't want the hassle that goes along with a drone, then the HoverAir does look like an attractive proposition. As I was saying earlier, there are two versions, the Pro and the Pro Max. I'll flash up on the screen here all of the differences between them, but the three key things that everyone's talking about is the Pro will film at 4K, while the Pro Max will film at a very impressive 8K. Additionally, the Pro Max has more internal storage, but most importantly for us cyclists, the Pro Max also has rear-facing sensors, so when it's looking back at us filming, there's less chance of it flying backwards into something. So yes, it quite literally has eyes in the back of its head. So as I was saying earlier, HoverAir either offer their drones on their own or in various bundles, and the bundle that they've sent me and asked me to talk to you guys about is the one that is aimed directly at us, the cycling bundle. So what do you get? Well, obviously you get the drone itself and, unsurprisingly, a battery. But what you also get is 2 additional batteries and the smart USB-C charging station that will charge both of those batteries simultaneously. And on the subject of charging, you also get what seems to be a very nicely made 65-watt USB-C charger. And you also get various things like bag, cables, accessories, mounts and stuff But most importantly for both us cyclists and also content creators generally, you also get this little gadget, the beacon. And I'll talk a bit more about why that's so important to cyclists and content creators in a minute. Now, HoverAir has sent me this drone free of charge, so I can tell you guys all about it, but I'm not being told what to say, and the thoughts that I'm going to share with you are my own. Right, let's enjoy that view a bit. Can you hear the shotguns in the background? Right, so it's time to give this thing a try. Now, before we look at those modes that are aimed more at the cyclist, let's first of all try out a few of the more basic modes. First up, the most basic one, hover, where the camera stays in a fixed position but turns and tracks you. Ideal if you're learning to use the camera for the first time. So the HoverAir will theoretically stay in the same position, even though it's a bit of a windy day. And as I move, it will track me. I suppose it's a bit like having my own film crew. And that is hover. Next up, bird's eye. This is where the camera goes straight up in the sky and then comes straight back down again. You can specify whether it rotates when it goes up, how high it goes up, and the direction the camera is facing. You can hear the motors though, it's struggling up there and the trees are blowing a bit. Seems to be doing all right though. And back down it comes. So there you go, bird's eye. Zoom out is where the camera flies away from you, looking back at you, and then returns to you. And I cannot think of a better place to demonstrate it than here, St Lawrence Church in Rushton. It is a beautiful location. Look at this stunning view. And as a bonus, look, I found a really nice white mountain bike. Right, so let's fly the drone out that way. And off it goes. How clever is that? The next mode is follow, and as the name suggests, the drone will just follow me. Red light on the front means recording, and I can now move and it will follow me. Now we can either specify how high or low or how far or how close, and you can do these specifications in all the settings. Orbit, this is where the camera flies around you, does a full circle around you. You can specify height and distance, and whether it's a 180, a 360, and there it goes, off around me. Not sure how long this is going to take, I might have to speed this bit up. So there you go, full 360, should now start coming back to me. And that is orbit. So there's some of the basic modes out of the way. Now let's put some kit on and see what it can do out on the bike. Lunchtime in the van. These videos take a very long time to make. This one is side track, and as the name suggests, it tracks to the side of you. Great for getting footage in the third person, but this mode, you need to be very careful with it, because none of the HoverAir have sensors on the side, so it is flying completely blind and is 100% reliant on you to look out where it's going. And as this is a bit of a narrow road, I thought the best thing to do is set it to nice and close so it doesn't take off too far. You can only activate this option after you've done a lot of the other options quite a few times. Right, so cycling mode. Now this is really similar to the follow mode, except HoverAir has introduced two new parameters: open area and narrow route. So open area, what that basically means is you use it in an open area and it will follow you in a very roundabout kind of fashion. But narrow routes, what it does there is it attempts to follow you in exactly the path that you took. So the logic there and the thinking there is, well, if you got through, then the HoverAir will get through as well. Through that bridge is a very narrow track with lots of twists and turns. It is a follow drone's nightmare. Now, the average drone, it would be not if it crashes, but when it crashes. But people do say that the HoverAir is very, very good in this environment. So, right, let's give it a test. Oh, and almost forgot, that is a mile long. Okay, well, let's see what you're made of. Well, it made it through the first bit. That's quite impressive. Right, let's see how it does. Slow down a bit, it might go too high. Let's see how it does here. I think it's going to crash. It's still following me. That's impressive. Right. Watch out for that iron bar. And down we go again. There it goes. And there it is. It's got a bit of moisture on the corner. I can focus on that. But it seems to have survived. Right, let's carry on. Really overgrown. My concern is this on the right. This is a railway line with a fence that's going to be a nightmare to climb over. This is a railway they're recommissioning with a big, deep, dark tunnel. My Garmin always flashes that it loses GPS under here. So does it need that? Or can it just lasso to the beacon and stay connected to me? Still there? Well,
Low battery.
Low battery.
Please return home immediately.
This is a good time to
Low
stop.
battery.
Low battery.
Please return home immediately.
We are, love. One of the things I forgot to discuss back at the van was the subject of internal storage. Now, the original HoverAir X1, the standard one, that comes with 32 gig of internal storage that you cannot expand. The Pro also comes with 32 gig and the Pro Max comes with 64 gig. But both the Pro and the Pro Max can be expanded up to 1 terabit using a micro SD card. Now, what I'll say on that is when I first started using the HoverAir, for the first few days, I forgot to actually put a micro SD card in it. And I was filming at 4K 25 frames per second, and I didn't get anywhere near filling the internal storage. Nice house. One of the problems people have with the original HoverAir is speed, or lack of it. It's got a maximum speed of 15 miles an hour. It's not exactly going to make for the most exciting footage, is it? But the new Pro and Pro Max claim to have a maximum speed of up to 26 miles an hour. Okay, let's see how fast you can go. Miles an hour, 13 miles an hour, 15. You're looking at some gear stuff, back it off. Wrap it up. Don't pull away too quickly, give it a chance to catch up. $22, $24. Right, let's ramp it up and see what happens. $25, $26, $28. Backing off. Looks like it's still behind me. 25. $27. Alarm's going off. I think we've lost it. Better get back to it quick before a car comes and crashes into it. Have you got me? Well, it looks like you've got me. All right, carry on with our lives. So, the speed test, it is a windy day. And I think I'll have to wait until I check the footage, but I think I saw 28 miles an hour. And as I say, considering it's windy, it looks like it's done what it claims to do. Right, back to the van, and it's that away. The most important part of the cycling bundle, after the drone that is this little box of tricks, the beacon. It has a 4cm LED screen and it communicates directly with the HoverAir. And with the supplied mount, it fits directly onto your handlebars. And what does it do? First of all, you can use it to monitor what the drone sees in real time. So you can check that you're in shot and also check to make sure it's still behind you, following you. There is nothing worse than you think to yourself, is it still behind me? Is it still following me? You stop, turn back, only to realise it was there all along and you've just ruined a perfectly good shot. You can also use it to change the drone settings directly from your handlebars.
360-degree spin.
How clever is that? It acts as a direct link between the beacon and the HoverAir, so it not only gives you critical updates like I've crashed and the batteries are flat, but it also acts as a virtual lasso between the two, so there's a lot less chance of the HoverAir flying away to go and do its own thing. But the most important thing about the beacon for me is that little microphone there, which takes the HoverAir from novelty camera right up to a flying camera that can record my voice. Recording video and audio on a drone can be, to be polite, problematic. You record the video on the drone as you would, and then you record the audio on a secondary recording device like this, and then you bring the two together in post. But it's usually a waste of time because the noise of the drone usually destroys the audio. Let me show you what I mean. There we go. So now we've got the drone right there recording, and as you can hear, it's making a hell of a noise. And you can try all the filters and stuff in the world, you will not get rid of this noise. I don't actually know if you can even hear me. This could be just blur, unless you can lip read, of course. Obviously, once it lands, it's a lot nicer. And here is that exact scenario again, but all of this camera is off, and you're seeing me through the HoverAir, and my voice is coming through the beacon. And the AI in the app has been used to remove the sound of the blades. So what you're left with is video of yourself filmed in the third person by a flying camera, complete with audio. How clever is that? Is this audio solution perfect? If I'm honest, no, it's not perfect. The audio does sound a little bit processed, and additionally, as the audio is being recorded on one device and the video is being recorded on another, you do get a little bit of a synchronization issue. I've purposely left this video as recorded, and there is every chance that my lips are not in sync with the audio. You do need to deal with it a little bit in post. And additionally, as the beacon's microphone is a tiny little hole on the front here, you do get a bit of wind interference when you're on the bike at speed. But saying all of that, the solution is a lot better than using a standard microphone. So how much does the Pro and Pro Max cost? Well, if you went for the Pro and you went for the entry-level standard package, you would get the drone with its battery, you would get the power hub with a second battery, and you would get the charger and the relevant cables, and that would come in at £459. Or alternatively, if you decided to stick with the standard package but upgrade to the Pro Max, So you would get all of that again, but you would get the Pro Max drone, which is this one. It's a lot dearer, it's £639. Now, if you decided to go the whole hog and get the Pro Max with in the cycling bundle, so you would get all of the stuff you get on the table here, plus you'd have that extra battery, so you get 3 batteries in total, and you would get the beacon and the bag and the mounts and all of the all the cables and the ND filters. That does come in at quite a healthy £1,029. Now, I have looked and tried to sort of beat the system, as it were, what would happen if you went for the Pro Max and all those batteries and the charger and the beacon, but you left those other accessories to one side. It would actually cost you more than the bundle price. Although the Pro and the Pro Max don't come with a full-size controller like you would see with a regular drone, you can still fly it manually via your mobile phone. Now, unsurprisingly, that operation is a little bit clunky when compared to a full-sized controller with joysticks, but it still does allow you to fly it manually. So if you're out and about and you see that amazing vista that you want to capture, you can still get your drone into the air and fly it over there manually via your mobile for up to 800 feet. But saying that, if that full control is a big thing for you, then you can add a set of joysticks to the beacon that sit each side of it, and then your mobile phone sits underneath, and this acts as a full-sized regular controller. And because you are using the beacon, this also means that you can then fly the drone for up to roughly half a mile. Okay, so I have had the HoverAir in my life for roughly a month now. In that time, what opinion have I built up of the HoverAir Pro Max? Well, first of all, let's have a look at the pros. And I've got my laptop here because I've the worst memory in the world. So, first of all, convenience. Compared to the DJI, it's tiny. Take it out any pocket, fly it, off it goes, put it back in your pocket, and you're on the move again. Simple, with no controller to faff around with, and simple presets. Just press the button, select the preset you want, no controller to muck around with. It's really, really simple. Image quality, right, well, the Pro is 4K and the Pro Max films up to 8K, and both of them can do up to 60 frames per second. The vast majority of us are never going to need up to 8K. The microphone built into the beacon, as I said earlier, takes this from being a novelty gadget to film a bit of fancy B-roll that I may or may not actually need, up to a flying camera with a microphone on it. You know, you could have this thing 50 foot in the air, buzzing along one side of me, and I can be talking to that camera that's right up in the air. Once again, as I said earlier, you are never going to do that with a 360 camera on a selfie stick. Right, so that is the pros out of the way. Now let's talk about the cons. And the first one, the elephant in the room, the price. At £460 for the Pro, going right up to over £1,000 for the Pro Max in one of the bundled kits like the cycling or the ski kit, it is expensive. You compare that to the DJI Flip, for example. Yes, agreed, it is a bit bulkier than this, but it still flies independently. You don't have to use a controller with it. It will still fly out of your hand, it will still follow you, and it will still film at 4K. And that comes in at £369. Plus, it also comes with a full-size controller. You don't need to add the beacon and its joysticks. And the second negative is range. At 250 meters, which is roughly 800 feet, the range isn't fantastic unless you start spending money on, as I said earlier, the beacon with the joysticks. The DJI Flip, out the box, has got a range of 16 kilometers. Okay, so let's try and summarize what we've learned here. HoverAir call the Pro and the Pro Max a flying camera. They don't call it a drone, and they call it a flying camera for good reason. If you want a gadget that you can just literally pull out of your pocket, flip it open, press a button, it takes off into the air and captures amazing footage at either 4 or 8K, it's a brilliant gadget for that type of job. And let's not forget, the beacon then allows you to put audio into that video. So for creating, it is a fantastic bit of kit, but it is not a drone. If you are looking for that full fat drone experience, the HoverAir isn't going to do it for you, and there are alternatives out there that will do that for you, and it will probably be a lot cheaper. Now, if you want to watch my video where I build this all carbon gravel bike with wireless shifting, check out that video up there. Or alternatively, if you want to watch me completely nerd out on torque wrenches, check out that video down there. Thanks for watching.